Hopefully you guys can hear me, man. I had some technical difficulties last time, man. It was kind of crazy because my laptop kind of just went completely out. Um, and I didn't realize it. So apologize about that, man. But it's all good. How's everybody? Hope all is well. Rough week, man. We're still in this COVID situation. So just released a blog post talking about a hustle that we can do. We were looking at. So if you're interested, make sure you guys go to drugdealerstobusinessmenpodcast.com. Basically, what I was talking about was learning how to hang Christmas lights, dog. It's like that. Like, sometimes we're in positions to where jobs aren't necessarily paying us as much as we used to. I'm a professor. I just got one of my classes cut. Just to kind of be transparent with you, man. I'm sitting up here looking at grills. I'm like, what kind of hustle can I do you can hear me, huh? What up, Reggie? I see you, homeboy. But yeah, let me just share this real quick with my audience. Yeah, man, my computer was crashing, man. So I didn't even realize that what was going on, why I couldn't hear myself. God is good. So now I can do that. But yeah, man. So I'm looking at all kind of hustles because things are getting tight, right? We got the holidays coming up, so I'm trying to give the homies alternatives for doing stuff, doing things in the neighborhood that they can easily do, hustles that don't cost that much. A lot of cats is coming up in LA cooking now. So I'm sitting up there looking at that like, I make some pretty good such and such or whatever the case. And I'm looking at the tools. Like, I don't want to put myself and my destiny in someone else's hands, man. That's not a good feeling. I've done that before. And I even started questioning myself as I was teaching. I'm like, man, is this, I don't want to get comfortable with this too and take away from my hustle. So it was a reality. I mean, I still have other classes and whatnot, but it was a reality check like, hey, don't get comfortable even doing this. You need to be focusing on your hustle, what it is you do on a day-to-day basis, and continue to do that, because once you start to get comfortable and let grass grow under your feet, that's when they move your cheese. And if you haven't read the book, Who Moved My Cheese, I definitely recommend that. I'm going to do that on a giveaway too, probably in about a week or so. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so I'm looking at things, the grills that I was looking at were the grills with also the fryer on there, because I'm just thinking, okay, so I can do burgers and fries. LA has a permit where you can get a food permit. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I'm looking at alternative hustles, dog. I'm looking at other things that I need to be doing rather than just sitting here. I'm turning it up on the blog, turning it up on my content. I'm trying to invest more in my brands, more time, putting more energy into them. So that's what I'm doing right now. So one of the books that I'm giving away today, well, I'm not doing it today. You got to do it. You got to join, but Atomic Habits. Not this particular one. This is one I got, my sister-in-law got me, but I am giving away an Atomic Habits. And right now, because we're in the pandemic time and because we're at home, this is a really good opportune time for us to develop some really, really interesting and better habits. So I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do now that I have this time freed up, because I'll have one less class to teach. What can I do to occupy that time? And more importantly, how can I make that time multiply into something else? Right. So I'm going to have a free hour or so per week or whatever the case in terms of preparation. What can I fill that hour with? Can I fill it with writing? Can I fill it with content marketing? Can I fill it with exercising? What can I actually fill it with? Because I need to put something in that place, because there was something that I was doing before. So if you laid off, I know homies is getting laid off. My son got laid off. He was at the warehouse. Telling him, what are we going to do next? Are you going to drive? What are you going to actually do? And that's when we need to start thinking. It's at these times, man. Yeah, Atomic Habit indeed. What's up, family? I see you. Atomic Habits is cold. So just to kind of give you some insight on it, just looking at the chapters, what it does is he talks about just routine. So even doing, it's kind of showing you guys some of the, there you go. Self-control, motivation. And it just talks about, one of the habits that he talks about was going to the gym. He describes a cat that actually goes to the gym for a minute for 5 days. I mean, 5 minutes for 5 days a week. And most people are sitting there thinking about, well, that's not going to be enough. That's not necessarily going to be, that's not going to be significant. When you go to the gym, you got to put in work. You got to spend time in the heavies. You got to go in the hundreds, whatever the case may be. You got to spend time doing it. Well, contrary to popular belief, what he was trying to do is develop the habit of going to the gym 5 times a week. Now you have training people released I have training money available for people released. Okay, let me put that out there too for homies. People released in the last 6 months. So anybody who's tapping in, if you guys are just getting here, make sure you guys tap in the comments because we got resources for homies, especially if you just came home in the last 6 months. Make sure you leave your information in the comments or make sure you tap in with Harris First in the comments so that you can actually get that assistance. But that's what we're trying to do now. One of my next guests that I'm having on the podcast is going to be talking about more like the nonprofit side. And then I'm trying to get someone else who's talking about expungements, just anything related to that job, what you need, what you can put, what you shouldn't put on there, because that's something that's important too. And I'll discuss that briefly too. Should you or shouldn't you disclose your background? And that's a touchy subject because a lot of, beforehand it was, I don't necessarily want to, I don't know if I want to share my background with them. I don't necessarily want to do that. And, the kind of the flip side of that is what if they find out anyways, right? Because then it makes it seem like you were hiding things. And then there's another side to it that nowadays that's actually, part of your story, and that's the thing, we cover it up as it's dishonorable. And Vincent Bragg talks about that on the podcast too. If you haven't listened to that one, listen to that one. I think it's episode 47 or 48. He talks about the shame that comes with going to prison. And we have that shame where we don't want to tell anybody that we've been to the pen. We want to keep that low. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to disclose these things that could very well help us or get us in the right position. So, with that, I'd say, it's really up to you, subjective. It's, it's your own personal preference if you'd like to. But it's something that you need to deal with because there's going to be situations to where you may have to disclose it. One of the things I will tell you about California, though, with the state, it's 10 years. That's it. After that, they don't check. You can put it if you want to, but that's not a qualifying deal. I looked it up, and I work for the state of California. So when I teach, I work for Cal State. So they only look 10 years. I think it might even be 7, but I know for a fact it's 10 years. So if you did it 10 years ago and you see a state job, you got action. I know some of the homies is working in Phoenix too, working for the state. That I know been to the pen. You know what I'm saying? So these are opportunities for you, and I think it's that what we don't know. We don't know what questions to ask because we don't know what resources are available to us. Let me bring that to you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving towards getting some guests that are going to actually give you guys resources, tips, ways to kind of, shift through all that BS that's out there that kind of discourages us from going after certain jobs and dreams, because we don't, we think we don't have the qualifications. And I'll tell you something else about qualifications, man. Qualifications, I've been in a human resources management class from a grad school standpoint. And when they put a lot of those job descriptions out there, that's just to scare people off. That's all that's there for. You know what I'm saying? Certain things they'll ask you for, but a lot of times, go for it any damn ways. Don't let that be the deterrent factor. Like, oh no, they said you need, man, apply anyways. You'll get there and you'll find out nobody has a master's degree, not even the boss, right? But they put that out there to try to get a certain level of individuals. And my whole thing is, wait for them to tell you absolutely no. Wait for them to shoot you down. But damn sure put that application in. Don't ever hesitate to not do that. And those job descriptions, figure out a way. You got to look into your history to see if you have something that matches that. A lot of times we don't dig deep enough and look at our own personal experiences to see what we already have, the jobs we've done, babysitting, managing such and such as business, and such as car wash, whatever the case may be. We don't take that experience as being relevant or applicable, and it is, but we don't look at it like that. So we need to do a self-assessment to look at where we are, what we have, what we already possess. And that ties into more of a philosophical type of conversation that I was thinking about is when we get put out there on our path to dreams and glory and all these things that we want to achieve, 99% of the time we have everything we already need, whether we think we don't have anything or not. We already possess it. Whether it be you think you need the money, you think you need the tools, you'll find out that financing is available, right? So you don't need the cash. You just needed to figure out this program. They got this program for minorities or whatever the case where they give funding. So that's not the issue, right? You need you need to be in the right place at the right time. Oh, well, such the cannabis industry is taking off. There's other things that are going on. Jay Prince was on the podcast talking about, hey, so if you are moving to Texas, Oklahoma, you got people out that way in the Midwest, you may want to start looking at, hey, are we growing hay on the property? Nah, before we sell it, can we put some hay out there? Can we start going out? Can we harvest it? Do we have the ability to harvest it? So start looking at what you already possess before we start saying what we don't have. I look at that all the time, and I did a little video on that, and you guys can check that out on the Facebook, on this page actually, where I talked about that. A lot of times when we start looking at our blessings, man, we don't necessarily admire them the way when we wanted them, right? When we see somebody else getting blessed, we automatically start looking at their pot, looking at what their plate looks like. Oh, well, damn, I didn't know the steak came like that. Well, you asked for a pork chop. He asked for a steak. So you got to be careful what you ask for, because you can't start getting mad because he got a steak because he asked for it. He knew what the universe can provide. He knew what God could provide, so he wasn't limited in what he thought the universe could give him. And I'll caution you on that. Ask for what you want, but be careful on that. So do you want the ocean view? And we've had this conversation before. Do you want that ocean view property? Yeah, I want the big one with the 50 toilets. Like, you see all these rappers and stuff buying all these old properties, Evander Holyfield's old property, all these old boxers, because they were so caught up in their ego that they thought they needed 30 toilets. Do you need 30 toilets? No, not now. You think about it like, why did I buy this shit? You know what I'm saying? So don't get caught up into that, right? Don't get caught up into looking at somebody else's plate and not thinking that you're blessed enough. We already have what we need. We already possess it. It's already in us. We've already learned it, right? We just need refinement. We may need a little bit more exposure. We may need a little bit more fine tuning. But ultimately, man, God gives us our gifts, man. Whether we recognize them or not at that time is also the key. Because a lot of times we don't recognize the gift that God has given us. And it very well may look like a disappointment. That's where things are disguised. Your blessings, they put on disguises, right? They want to see if you really real. So let me put on this disguise and make it look like a disappointment. You follow through and start doing some dirt or start doing some other stuff because God was testing you to see if you was really on his side or not. You failed. Now that the blessing comes, that you never know whether it was real or not. But when you pass the test, the blessing comes out the close, unless you know, man, I was a blessing the entire time. You thought I had this hoodie on, you thought I was shady, but I wasn't. I was actually looking out for you. You thought I prevented you from getting out there starting this business during this time. Well, I was actually looking out for you. I didn't want you to fail. I didn't want you to put all your back this and this and that. So I'm trying to prevent you from doing that. Oh, well, you paused us during COVID. We couldn't operate. Well, I was preventing you from getting into an accident. There was this pileup that was getting ready to happen on the 5 that you didn't know that you were going to be involved in. So I prevented that, and I made it look like this so you wouldn't think that I was out there just saving you like that, even though I can't, right? I'm not trying to get too philosophical, but I am trying to give you that because that's important too. Because at the same time, like Prince said, you gotta understand everything in life. I can attest to that as well. Everything that I've wanted in life, I prayed for first, and then I got it. That's the thing. An answered prayer list that he talked about is a real thing. It is absolutely real. I write them in my journal. I talk about what blessings I got, and a lot of the times it helps me process things. I don't. It's downstairs in my thinking tank, which is my garage. That's where I keep my journal, and you need to document it. It's history. History is going on. You're part of it. And if you don't document your history, nobody's going to know what you were trying to do. Just in case something happens, just in case you don't achieve it, you want to plant that seed and let the legacy precede you, right? Or is it foreseed or precede? I get that mixed up. But at the same time, you want people to continue on your legacy. So I'm documenting my whole deal. How I went to college. I got a journal on college. So if the house burned down or whatever, something happened, the kid, my great grandkids find it, they're gonna be inspired. My great grandpa was out here trying to put it down. He was trying to put it down during COVID. He was trying to put it down during this time. He came from this, he came from that. And if you don't document it, who in the world's gonna know? The Library of Congress damn sure ain't documenting your history. So who's documenting it if you're not? So imperative that you get you a journal and write this stuff down. Write down your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. Put it down. Everybody who's anybody will tell you they wrote it down and saw the vision before it became a reality. And the homie's been doing that with cars forever. You see it first, man. It's gonna be candy, red, whoopty wham. I'm gonna put this on there. It's gonna be creamy. You see the damn thing. So would you stop there with the Lolo? You got to keep it popping with these other things, man. Because God didn't stop giving with the Daytons, homie. That was teenage shit. Now we've moved on, right? So now what are bigger and better things that He has for us, right? Because now we're flipping it. Now we're starting to think legacy. How can I create something for my grandkids? How can I create something and inspire them to want to take whatever seed I planted and run with it? That's what we're trying to do, right? And that's what starts with vision. Jay Prince talked about that on the podcast. He used to ride out to this property. Knew it was way too expensive. Still rode out there. Had faith. God tapped in, and it became magical. And that's what happens. It's like that recipe, like, you know, that one thing ingredient that you need, but you got to start the recipe before you even go to the grocery store, right? You starting it, you putting your stuff together because you got to believe that much that you're going to get it. One of the things that I would always do, whatever neighborhood I'm going to move into or whatever neighborhood, I start to practice the routes. I start to hit those grocery stores before I even moved there. When we lived in Playa right by the beach, right across the way, I rolled by there when I lived in Rancho Cucamonga. I would ride by there and like, man, I'm going to live here. Then I'm going to just be able to go right over here and go surf at the beach. Roll by there constantly, all the time. Would go out my way. When I get off work, I ride around, go that route, and figure out the route. Then next thing you know, I was pulling in there. And it happens just like that. It's magical. There's a book called Creating Abundance that I Creating Money. Really recommend it. It talks about having that mentality to receive these types of things. You got to have an open mind to receive it. And that's the problem. Most people have their mind closed. Just like you have your hands closed or full, how the hell can you receive anything? How can I give you anything when your hands are full of bullshit? Right? I can't give you the juice. Right? I can't give you the good stuff because you holding on this bad stuff. So you got to drop it, have faith in me. Like Jay Prince, he had faith. He gave the church money, gave the church $1 million when he didn't really have it. That was his last one. But had that faith that God was going to give it to him again. And that's the kind of faith that we have to have. And I'm not no religious church type cat. I'm just telling you some real stuff, man. Stuff that actually worked for me and what's going to work for us and get us through this COVID thing. Because we all going through it together. Hustlers too. I just found out the homie's still hustling. Found out the ticket on the work. I was flabbergasted. I can't believe homies is still trying to make money in that expensive ass game. I couldn't believe how much they charging. I said, are you serious? Damn near double what we was paying back then. And I'm like, man, how can you? There's no wiggle room. There's no margins. How can you make a hustle off of this? This is ridiculous. So they squeezing the homies, not even on the illegitimate side, but they also squeezing them on the legitimate side. So we trying to figure out what can we do? Homies is down the street making egg rolls, dog, on the 110 in Rosecrans, creating brands now. The Mr. Fry man, you guys seeing all over the place, all over Instagram, started in his backyard with a fry machine when he got laid off and fired from his job. So that blessing, turning it into a franchise. Now he's chilling. God always come with the juice. He always comes with it. Comes with an idea and a suggestion. A lady, she just got featured on cable selling flavored pickles. Flavored pickles. So our hustle, man, there's no limit. People are trying stuff now, digging deep. This is when you tap in, but you tap into what's already inside of you, because we all have a gift, whether we have to learn it on the fly or not. Because these cats around here cooking tacos they ain't been to Tijuana cooking tacos their whole life. They just like, hey, homie, I know where to get some chicken. I got a grill. Homies around here's ribs are touching. I got a business, right? And that's the key right there. You got to have that faith to where like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it, and it doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. I'm sticking with it. And I'm gonna try it. I'm going out swinging. Like Jay Prince said, man. I'm. When he first got on, I didn't show that part. He just started laughing. He's like, man, I made it. I ain't supposed to be here. Can you, man? I can't believe it. I'm like, man, like Jay-Z said, I'm shocked too. I'm supposed to be, locked up too. We're surprised. But then we realize at the same time, if he blessed us to that point to where we're shocked, what else can we get? What else can we do? Right? Because we got to just ask. We asked him to get us out of that shit. We asked him to get us out of this. Man, just don't let him pull me over. How many times we pray on that, man? And the fool kept going. We got stories. Every homie got a story on that one. So we got to keep praying. Praying works. Doesn't stop. And we need it more than ever right now. Right? We need it more than ever. And that's the key. Tapping in, not being afraid to be vulnerable to say, hey, homie, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Hey, man, I'm taking an L. I'm being transparent with my L. I took a little L too. Okay. One of them Shannon Sharpe hot L's. You know what I'm saying? But I knew it was coming, and I've done this dance before. Right? What's up, homie? You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is when you've done this dance before, it's nothing to you. I told my dad today. I said, hey, Dad, you know what? Remember the drought of 93? I said, oh, he was like, oh, I said, yeah, that one hurt, homie. So if we can get it, and the homies know, man, if anybody was around 92, 93, remember when there wasn't no work? Then when it was coming through, it was like gold. Yeah, and they was charging that crazy ticket. We was barely surviving, but we survived that. And anytime we could survive something like that, then this is nothing to us, homie. This is nothing to us. All we got to do is keep it pushing and figure out what's the next hustle. Homies is tapping in and doing everything. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all laughing. That's real talk. Y'all know which one I'm talking about? That one hurt. That sent a lot of cats into different businesses. Real hustlers was quitting. I mean, it was still popping, man. Other hustlers was going to the social security. They was doing all kind of stuff. They like, man, I can't. I'm tapping out, homie. It was rough. That 93 drop was a rough one, homie. And if anybody knows, that was survival skills, homie. You had to have them. And you had to know cats. And this is almost the same level, right? This is almost that same level. But we getting resourceful. We getting better. We starting our own company. We starting our own transportation company. We starting our own communication company. Shout out to the homie who just tapped in, Big Ron. Got his communication company. He traveling the nation doing his hustle. You know what I'm saying? The homie Fat Cat driving trucks, going where he wants to doing his hustle. We controlling our own destiny, giving us time with our families, right? Which is the most important thing, right? Because the rich man, we want to be rich, right? But do we really want to be Steve Jobs, or do we really want to be what's the other fool's name? Jeff Bezos? Because with that becomes a lot of responsibility, becomes a lot of neglect, becomes a lot of missing birthdays and birthday parties. So that's great. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's out, so I get that. But at the same time, it becomes a certain point to where you don't need much more than that. So then you start to sacrifice your time. So everybody has their own flavor. I'm not knocking no hustles, but at the same time, I'm saying don't burn yourself out. Same thing. Talking to my wife, you got to preserve yourself, and good to your team. So don't burn out. But at the same time, you got to start figuring out your hustle, and don't be dependent on one hustle. Diversify your hustle. You can't just have your money on the work. You got to have your money on the green. You got to have your money in whatever. If I'm talking street hustle, you can't be in one bag, because when that bag goes bad, you don't have anything to fall on, right? Trying to find a dice game to get into. But for real, diversify that hustle. So now I'm trying to diversify the hustle. I got all this training equipment. Do I need to get certified as a personal trainer? I'm trying to figure it out, homie. Because what I ain't going to do is sit there and just be like, oh, that happened? Oh, my business is sub. Oh, okay. Oh, nah, sitting there. Nah, when have we done that? That's not what we do. We're in traffic. We trying to make it shake. Who got it? Where's it at? How can I get my hands on something? That's what real hustlers do. So this ain't nothing stopping. We flipping the script, trying to find another legal opportunity. What else can we get into? What else can I get certified in? What else can I manipulate? What else can I get in? What else can I put my money in? What else can I flip? Right? What's available? What hustles are available? Right? Because jobs are going to be thin. Cats is trying to hold on to what they're trying to hold on to. Here we go. Let's see. Employment after incarceration training tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in that, that's what I'm talking about right there. Know your rights training tickets. Eventbrite, you guys see that. The link is also in the bio. I mean, in the comments as well, so you guys can see that as well. Shout out to Brandy, appreciate you, fan. Or I don't know which one. I think it's B though. Is on there, and Kat, my dude. I know you probably sitting right there too. So I send my love to you guys as always, man. Appreciate you. One, for tapping in, and then two, really for providing this resource, because y'all know what time it is and how hard it is for brothers as is. But I do want you guys to know California is a little bit different. So you guys can, there's opportunity here for people to work. And in your state, oh, what's up, homie? Oh, okay. What? But that don't say anything. It's me, bro. That doesn't tell me who. Who is it? Is it Cat or Brandy? One of y'all. I hope it's both of y'all. But anyways, I send my love as always, and to the girls too, man. I know y'all about to. Oh yeah, I know it was B. What's up, B? I see you. Yeah. I figured that was you with the training too. But yeah, I appreciate you as always. But yeah, that's the deal, man. You guys gotta, we gotta tap in. But this the way you win this book. Is you gotta go on, make sure you guys like the page. You gotta go to the page, like it. It should be down there somewhere. Like go down there. I posted a link, a picture, and you need to put in quotations. I need that, and you got to share it. And then at the end, I think at the end of the month, I'm doing the giveaway. So I may do a few of them. I may get a few of these because I think that they're really, really good books. I took a lot away from it. I've developed some habits. I make things closer to me. I also applied the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, which means that if you don't react to something physically that you want to do within 5 seconds of thinking about it, your mind actually starts to try to talk you out of it. So the female hustlers tapping in. I appreciate you for sure. I know, and y'all hustling in a real way too, Tanisha. I know you on that front line with the healthcare workers, man. My wife as well. So now I know y'all out there, and I know y'all was rocking with us back in the day too. I think y'all was around during that '93 drought. To be honest with you, I think y'all was coming through. But yeah, man, that Atomic Habits is a really good book. I just got finished reading a book by a guy named Pat Flynn called Superfans, which is really good. Is actually one of the tips that he gave me is really helping grow this group and also our private group. So the things that I'm learning with him, he's a podcaster, so we're working on podcasts. We're about to interview my boy T Stone, so we got him coming up. And then I got another one, another guest of a nonprofit that's actually focusing on applications, how to fill those things out, how to get your resume together, how to build your LinkedIn profile. I think that's probably the most important thing. And I may do a workshop on that as well, or at least try to bring in an expert to give you guys a real good way of setting up your LinkedIns. Because I think that's really neglected. Like people don't have their featured. They don't have, there's a green thing that you put on there that says you're looking for work. And you're looking to communicate with people. So there's a lot of different tips that you can do to your LinkedIn profile, what you specialize in, highlighting your work, things like that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So I think those are critical too for us to grow as people, is to share things like that. So let me see what I can do. I got a couple friends. I got a friend from Target, and I may try to see if she's down to do it. She does a LinkedIn kind of workshop anyways, and she recruits for Target. So she does. I'll see if she's down. She usually does educational stuff, so I'll see if she's down. I'll just kind of tell her what we're doing here, and I'll see. But I think she gave a lot of good tips on how to set up your LinkedIn profile so that you can let people know that you're interested in working, you're interested in connecting, you're interested in networking. Let me see if I can. Hold on real quick. I might be able to do it real quick with you guys. If you guys hang with your boy, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then you can do it. with yourself, like setting up your own profile, not just setting up your own profile, but just let me see. Should log me in. And I'll show you guys um my LinkedIn, what I have on there. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. All right, and I'll share it with you guys so you guys can see. Oh, you guys boned out on me?